is being taken at. The first one is at the existing address on Alessandro. This here place is adjacent to Echo Park. Now this first character that you're going to see is Mark Johnson. He was one of Lorraine's sister's child. Now that right there is Master James O'Connor, first offspring of the O'Connor family. This is the year 1949, and the picture was taken with a 16mm camera. At the time, you didn't have the luxury of sound, and this here is an overexposed picture, but that is Stephen Michael O'Connor, and that was the sister, Mark's mother. That's Master James, roly-poly. And the year in this particular thing is about, he was 3 months old, roughly. And he was down getting a little exercise out into the yard. Alessandro, that's my lovely wife, Claudia Lorraine O'Connor. Most of the time during those years she was called Lorraine. That was Master James, just a handful, and he's getting his first bike ride on his tricycle. He goes for the horn. Now this particular scene was in the kitchen. We didn't get a yeah, that was Jack Phillips, Lorraine's grandma's father, and this is my lovely wife. She's a beautiful woman, wonderful figure, smiling, lovely. And here we go. We're out in Alessandro. Master James is having a little trouble opening his eyes. They're holding him up, trying to get a laugh out of him. Not a joke. Just looks like he's a little bit not used to this outside world. That's father. Father Thomas J. O'Connor. There's Master James in his bath. He had a big bath dishpan is the word. He was getting his bath there. This is the top of the hill on Alessandro. This place here, this address is in Los Angeles. It's close to Echo Park. Look out over the Sunset Boulevard in Glendale. That is my lovely wife and Stephen and Lorraine. Lorraine is what the name we had her by. Here's Larry, my lovely wife. See that beautiful figure she had? Whoa, what a figure. She's coming down. We're coming down the stairs at 1316 Alessandro. She has her pride and joy. Master James. The bad exposure is due to the amateurishness of the photographer who didn't know what was going on. There's Grandma. Grandma has passed on, but we still remember. She passed on 1995, just recently, January, and that's Master James. Here the film got hung up in the projector when we were recording it. There's James, he can't stand up, and he's climbing on an army blanket that I brought back from World War II when I was in the service. Still had it. It was a darn good wool blanket. James doesn't care for the grass at that particular time. Jim is almost, I'd say 3 months old, 4 months old, 4 months. 4 months. There's Steve and my wife, grandma, you might say, Claudia. Years have gone by. We're talking 1950, and Stephen, we're talking 45 years ago. So this is a scene taken 45 years ago. There's Master James. Hasn't got his sea legs yet. He's just learning how to navigate. He's crawling more than he is walking, so that's life in the big city. And this picture was taken down at a place just close to Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium hadn't been built in those days, but this is a place called Barlow Sanitarium, and it's in Legion Park, just down the street from Barlow Sanitarium. They had some large palm trees there, and you can go down and enjoy the grass. In 1950, Papa was overseas. He was fighting the Korean War. He was over there. The picture is being taken by Grandma, and the film was sent to Papa overseas, to me, overseas. I was stationed in the Philippines at that time. The Korean War was going on. So Master James was learning how to walk. Smiley, cuddly, sweet baby. Hasn't changed a bit, huh? This is Stephen. He's learning how to play ball. Not much of a batter, but I don't think he had any instruction as to how to hold a bat. But Steve, and there's our Jim taking his ba-ba. You're gonna learn how to roll. Now look at this. First roll over. Oh, isn't that cute? Sweet James just learned how to roll over. He's trying out the grass, and the world goes by and goes on. There we go. He's learning how to mount that stroller. Oh, here he is. Now, Papa Jack had taken care of, well, his mother worked, and he slicked his hair down. See, his hair's all slicked down. He's just getting out of his playpen. When I see him lose his pants, his diapers, now he loves that. There he's smiling, happy. Happy-go-lucky. Master James. Yeah, suck on the bottle, buddy. And Stephen. They're out there enjoying the warmth of sunshine of the Alessandro residence where they lived. There he is, sucking on his fingers. Sweet. Oh, he's got a couple of teeth, sweet baby. All right, now here's years or months have gone by, and we have a 1948 Chevy. That was quite a car. Well, my Jim was about, he's about 2 years old. We were down at Fletcher Drive on Riverside Drive, just outside of Griffith Park. And Stephen had his cowboy suit on, and Master James was pretty good, progressing. We'll take a ride on the merry-go-round pretty soon. But this is a fountain outside of Fletcher Drive and Riverside Drive, just outside of Griffith Park, where I used to go swimming later on. When I was a kid, he used to go swimming there. They're having a little fun now. They're down there in the park. Now there's Grandma. That's our Grandma. Catherine Phillips. Now Catherine Phillips has passed on. She passed on the first part of 1995. And here we are enjoying the monkey and Stephen and the rest of them. Who's riding a horsey? Horsey? them are happy days. So, as I say, this was back in 1950, 51, to around there. It might have been 52, 51. But it was a good 50 years ago. Well, no, 45 years ago. We're riding in the equipment that they had down there. This is one of these parks, set up. Then we took a run up to, this was taken at Forest Lawn. There's a duck, duck, quack, quack, quack. Yeah, Forest Lawn is where this is from. Now we're back to Alessandro and his favorite little horsey, our lovely little James. This was Alessandro. He rode that horse pretty good. I think eventually it got busted. My wife has still got a beautiful figure. And there's two little offspring, Stephen and Jim, coming down the steps. This was the year 45 years ago. Do you want to point out the camera? Wave to the camera, you sweet little thing, Tony D'Elia, who was Claudia's, I don't call her Claudia, I call her Grandma's. I'll call her Grandma. That makes it easier to identify. Now the Three Musketeers on the, what is that? Swing. It's a swing, yeah. That's Mark, Stephen, and in the middle we have James. They're both hanging on for dear life, going by and forth, back and forth. That's Mark. He's the aggressive one. That's the one that grew up with Jim. And that was Catherine. That's Lorraine's sister and her husband, or Grandma's sister and her husband. Now that's Larry. That's Grandma's brother and her brother-in-law, Dick Johnson, and Marky getting into their 1949 Chevy. That was a hot item then. 1949. They just bought the darn thing. It was brand new. But there's Stephen, and this is Jack Phillips, and Larry Phillips. This is, I'm going to call Grandma Lorraine, to make it easy on me. Lorraine, that's Lorraine and her brother. This is a pretty lousy shot. That's due to inexperience. That's Larry. He was in the Air Force. I met him over in Tokyo, and Larry was in with the 45th Fighter Intercept Squadron. He was part of their maintenance crew, and he was stationed in one of the squadrons outside of Tokyo. The time that I came there, Mark was getting whomped for doing something incorrectly. Well, for running out in the street, that's what the offense was. There's Stephen. And Gloria. Gloria is a new one. That's Lorraine's aunt. She's only 9 days older than her. Right here's BMW. I don't know, we stuck a commercial on there for the BMW. Oh, that's good. I think James is 2 years old. Some of the other shots, this was Larry down on a base in, I don't know, I think it was in Arizona or someplace like that. This was a shot taken off the top of the mark. I'm going to give Gloria, Lorraine's aunt, full credit for this here, because I think After she went up there to the top of the mark, she had a little bit too much to drink, but she came down, she was a little bit tipsy. So here when he came down, this was the shot coming out of the top of the mark, San Francisco. And the year would be 1952, I'll say, 52 about. This was a picture of Richard Johnson, who is Lorraine, my lovely wife's sister's husband. Their little Shelley had just come back from the hospital. She had a little growth on the back of her neck that she had to have taken off. Now this particular shot was, see that house there? That was it a cat house? I'll say it was a house built for cats, where the boys got it. We got it from Tony DeLeo. Tony DeLeo was one of the aunt's husbands. And he built that. He was an artist. There is one of our early shots of Alessandro. Here we are down at Disneyland, taking a tour through the Disneyland. We had Grandma and the rest of the troops here. The wild animals attacked us, but we fought them off. There's a big elephant. This is strictly Disneyland. Adventureland, I think they call it nowadays. Adventureland. It was Adventureland in those days. There's Grandma looking out the window. And we get attacked by a big hippo. They're the boys. That was Jim. Jim was about 10 years old, getting to be 10. And we have various members of the family. Ah, there I am. And Mike, I have Mike. Mike is the next to oldest one in my lap. We're going on the bucket across in Disneyland. Coming from, I think, Adventureland into what is it, the rocket area? I forget what that area is. But it was a lot of fun in those days to go down there and enjoy that, those sights and figures and all those good things that were there. So, here we go. We just changed the tape around there. Flying high. Dumbo. We're on Dumbo. Dumbo the happy elephant. Flying high. Oh, we just come out of, that's Jim and Mike and myself and Claudia or Lorraine and there's the I forget what they call that, the Tunaville trolley or something. Coming around the old bend here is that their boat in Disneyland. We have Mike with us. I have there's Stephen. They're in those there cars. There's a reckless driver, Jim. The days of wine and roses, you might say. Look at the turf out there at Disneyland. Not a darn thing out there. No growth, no vegetation. All that has been changed since this was taken. But you have to consider that this was taken, let's put it out around 1959, 60. What is that? You know, I can't read that. That was a lot of fun. You got in this little cage and rode up and down, back and forth, all around. Keep all the monkeys caged up for this here momentous of cages. Now the year, as I say, is about 1958, 59, going on Disneyland through the early years of Disneyland. So, Casey's, was that Casey what, something? There's Stephen. This was a big pirate's boat. Oh, here we go. Mike and I. We had a lot of fun in those days. A lot of things. Jim. Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. The front of our house. Our favorite spot for taking a movie. And Grandma and Mike. All of 2, 3. I guess he was 3 chubby little feet. Okay, here we are up in Griffith Park, looking out over the area there. Here we have the whole crew. There's Jim, Stephen, and Mike, and me, and we're sitting on the, that's Mike alone. It's Easter. It's either Easter. We just gone to church and came down there to enjoy the park. We're down at Griffith Park, just off of Fletcher Drive. And Mike, a little bit unstable, but he was roughly about 2 years old. That's Jim's brother, his younger brother. There I am with the crew, and Mike's getting away. He almost got away. I captured him. We can get him out of our camera range here. Yeah. Here he comes. He's going to investigate the whole situation. Jim. There's Stephen. There's Mike. There's my lovely wife, Lorraine, Grandma, what have you. And they're going to play horsey back. Mike is going to be the jockey. Learn all about the steps and outside world and going up and down. Now, mind you, this is the year... let's go back. Let's say about 1953, 1954. 1954, let's put it down to 1954. Mike learned how to stand on his head, and the boys in the background. We're all growing up, we're passing our tests. So this is down at Griffith Park. That one that just dove in was Miller. Yeah, Miller. He was a guy that lived up the street from us. And there's Mike. He's learning how to swim. He's got his life jacket on. He's doing pretty good. I think this was the Miller's pool. We enjoyed the benefits of their pool before we got ours. Then we got ours, and we lived it up, and there's Grandma. There's Bob and Betty. They jumped off the diving board. Here they are, Betty. Betty had a hard time, and she didn't manage to... There, guess who that is? That was Jim and his snorkel, or his hourglass, you might say. And there's Bob Miller, diving off. We had a lot of fun up there, playing games. There's Stephen, and there I am. What do you know? I got into the act. And there's Stephen. He's going to jump in and make a scene. There we go. Oh, look at that powerful dive there. Yes, sir. Fun and games. The years go by. And ding-a-ling-a-ling, there's Betty Miller in the background. And there I am. All those hard years, 1954, 55. We're all growing up, passing time. All in the same location. Your old dad out there shoveling all that stuff against the tide. This is Kathleen. That's Grandma, and that's Kathleen. They had another baby. Kathleen OConnor, our lovely daughter. have her propped up. At least there she is. And Grandma and Bob. And the years have gone by. We're all swimming in the pool over there at Bob Miller's. There's Stephen, Kathleen. Yes, Kathleen. Yeah, Kathleen with her mouth open. She's all of 5 months, 6 months, I'd say. 6 months old. 6 months old and growing up. Now we're up to Mike. There's Mike. He's running through the sprinklers. It's hot. Same place, same house, same time. There he goes. Oh boy. And who is this? This is Kathleen. She's getting older as the days go by. Now, here we are out here in the front yard. We have Stephen, Jim, Mike, and there I am with Kathleen. Kathleen, look at the hair on my head. I had a true cut then. Years are going by. And Kathleen's a round little bubble of joy. There she is. Sweet Kathleen. All those years. Yeah, the time goes by, they quickly age, we all get old, but the years keep creeping by. Kathleen trying to get a spark up. Oh, this is a big scene. This is my sister, that gal in the brown. That's Donna Josephine O'Connor Nichols, and that was her crew. She had 13 children. She didn't look like the mother of 13, but she did. She came down and invaded us, and the O'Connors, you'll notice, are all up on the porch there. They're afraid of getting eaten up by these here Nichols. Here we have a pair of twins. That was one of the reasons. Mary Ann and Mary Jo. Now there's our little family all together. This is before the arrival of Tom. Tom had not yet arrived yet. There's Jim, Stephen, and my lovely wife. There she is. Stephen's got it. You're gonna pick up. Oh, she's capable of still picking that there mic up. Oh, no one can handle Kathleen. They pass her around. They're trying to struggle. Get her to, well, it's a long road a winding until the days all come true. It's a beautiful family, wonderful. Kathleen seems to be griping. Well, I don't know, I got into the act there. There's Jim, and Mike, and Kathleen, and me in the middle. You recognize me in the middle, and Stephen. They are improvising there, Jim is. And Stephen's following suit. And they're going to shake hands. They have no dialogue on this case. All right, here we have a date. December, I think it said 1958. Is that what it says? 1958? Yeah, I think it is 1958. So, that's 48, 58. That's about right. Jim's about 10. Stephen's about 12. Kathleen about 3, I guess. 3. He's kind of Backward, there she is. She got her dolly though. She can't get away from Mama. And she a cute baby. Now here, that year, I bought all bicycles for the boys. Everybody had a bicycle. They're all living it up. Hey, you know, when you're a single guy cutting the mustard for all these here little mouths to feed, it's quite a job. Let's see, we got everybody there? Yeah. Yeah. Stephen, Michael, all of them. There's Jim. He's all of 10. 10, I think. Yeah, about that. 10, 58, 58, 58, 58, 58. Yeah, that's about 10. So he's just in the process of growing up. We're all growing up. Now, Kathleen's going to give me a kiss. Oh, isn't she sweet? You going to kiss the boys? No, they didn't. Look how slim I was in those days. That's pretty good slim. My wife's a slim, good-looking gal. And there's Mike. I get the act. He always was improvising. And there's Kathleen down the corner. And this is taken down here at Black Hawk. Yeah, Black Hawk Street. Lived here a long time. It's been, well, 1950, 45 years, roughly. Kathleen, oh, here's a party. Mike's party. I think it was his birthday at this particular occasion. Irene and some of the Shays are in there. That was Irene, Shays. And there was Catherine Phillips, Johnson, Lorraine's, my wife, Claudia, I'm going to call her Grandma's sister. It's Kathleen, and there's Maureen and a few of the other neighbor kids around there, and they're all enjoying the party. We had a good time, good party. All these things have been captured. No, there over in the corner is Mark and Jim and Stephen. A couple of antisocial individuals. That's Jim, wiping his nose. Mark, everybody's enjoying himself at this party. That was Shelley and Mike. And here we are, back to our favorite position here. We always took our shots there. You got an Irish Flyer there that stayed with us for quite a few years, and now the kids all enjoyed it. But the years went by so quickly. My lovely wife and I, we were all dressed up. Whether it was at Christmas or something. Kathleen was dressed. Stephen, Mike, and that Irish Flyer. Kathleen and her walkie doll. And there's Stephen on the Irish Flyer. Running it, we ran the wheels off that whole thing. It was pretty good, a lot of fun. All dressed up and basically no place to go right now. We did find a place to go later on. Now, Stephen. Now here's Master James on the Irish Flyer. They all used it. Now, oh, look at this. Bought this car new, 1956 Plymouth Savoy, I think it was. That's a good running car. I traded it in on a 64 Ford later on with all the luxuries and chrome. Immediately after I turned it in and had it about 6-8 months, just walk Chatty, wasn't even Chatty, Kathy, the doll that walks, doesn't talk. There's Mike on the old Flyer. And Christmas. Christmas comes but once a year, but I'm here every day. Christmas. This is Mike and Thomas. Tom John. He's the new addition to the family. Catch on fast, and there's Kathleen. And the kids, I don't know, he's griping about something, or it looks like he is. Kathleen's going to give us a kiss. We have a kiss, and he fall down. Now here's Mike kissing Chatty Cathy. Straightening out our Christmas at the OConnors. The year, let's say, this year, right to about 1961. I would say December 61. 61 or 62. Now watch that cracker in his hand. He maintains it at all times. Saves the cracker from getting dirty. There's our Irish flyer. We used that pretty good. Used it. The backyard wasn't. Now this is Tom. Tom, the atom bomb. And here we have the Cat and Kathleen and the Tom. They're on the flyer, the Irish flyer. There he is, he got all hooked up. He's got his cracker though, hanging onto his cracker. So this was the year, I think, before we had our pool. I don't think we had put in the pool yet. But we were working on it. That pool came in mighty handy, mighty handy. All the years, kept all the kids home, taught them how to swim. It never even occurred to us that one of them might drown, something of that nature, but we did a good job. Who do we got here? Okay, this is our illustrious family. That's Tom. Tom and Kathleen. Those are the early years of the pool, when we had just installed the pool. There's Kathleen learning how to swim. All of us, more or less, there she is wiping her mask. She always wipes the water off her. And that's Miss America, my lovely wife. Yes, the years went by so quickly. Here they are in the pool. We're all enjoying our fun, having a lot of fun. It did more or less occupy the time. Now here we have Larry Phillips, and Delia is a girl shining in the front. There's Anthony and Jim. We're all enjoying the pool. The one that just got out was Anthony Phillips. He's down in Vegas now. And Mike. So the gal in the red there is Bob Crosby's daughter. Her name was Delia. And they had come over with Grandma meaning Grandma Phillips, who was taking care of the Crosbys. In those days, she was more or less a all-around type of Nana. Here we are. September the 18th, 1960. So what are we talking about? We're talking about 35 years ago. That's what we're talking about. September. And this is August here, so it's almost exactly 35 years ago that this here picture was taken. Because the date now is August 1995. So 35 years ago is when this was taken. Time cannot be stopped. It goes and goes and goes. There's Kathleen, our illustrious swimmer. Stephen and Tom. In the back is Jim, having fun. Enjoying the bliss of a nice pool. There we go. We have a little jump board. We had a little jump board, I should say, but the jump board is no longer there, thank God. I think it broke. I can't recall, but we're talking 35 years. But you know those trees, those palm trees, right? Can't even another picture. Jump board worked pretty good. Got a good. That I think is Jim and Tom, and then Tom, yeah, Tom, and that's me in the pool, in their boat. That boat, when they first got it, I thought it'd handle the situation, and I got in and fully dressed. When I got in it, the darn thing went straight to the bottom. Me, wallet, clothes, shoes, everything. That was fun. Now it's going down, see? It's going. Here we're teaching Kathleen how to dive. And Mike and Tom. Tom was just a lovely little baby at that time. There I am. The years and the clock and the time just tick right by and go on and on. There's Grandma Claudia, my lovely wife. You're going to dive in the pool. Join us all. All right, Mike and Kathleen going to jump in together. They see that little palm tree next to it? That was the one that was sold as a dwarf. That's supposed to be a dwarf right over there on the right-hand side. That was supposed to be a dwarf. And you ought to have seen it about 10 years later. It was a monster. So eventually I had to take it out. But we took it out. Now that is, Tom liked the water like most kids do at that age, and you know. They're jumping up and down, the water's going up and down, there's the whole troop. Mike and Kathleen and Tom and my lovely wife, Claudia, or call her Lorraine. There I am. Grandma must have been taking your pictures. They took it. Because I don't see her in the act. There's Mike. Oh, we got another front shot of the house there. I think I took those there shutters off and put new shutters on. I took that there, put a different grill on it. This was outside. And, oh, we're back in the back again. Well, we went from the front to the back to the front. There I am. That water is, I should say, really soothing, nice. Yeah, years gone by. Oh, this is Christmas. Christmas comes once a year, but I'm here every day. And the whole family enjoying Christmas. This must have been 1960, 1961. Nice tree, beautiful. And that old GE television I picked up for $50. And Tom, Kathleen, Mike. Mike got some building blocks, and Jim got a ball, and Larry, there's Larry, and they're the Shelley, Larry Phillips, Stephen, Anthony, Antoinette, and Grandma Phillips. Got to distinguish who's who. So yeah, that their television was quite a deal. There was the handles were rolled off. This guy is long since gone to his reward. So is she. That's Zia, or what was her name? Zia? I call her Zia. Richard. And there's Jim with my bathrobe on, and Mike making a spectacle of himself. Grandma with her bathrobe on. This was the morning after Christmas. We were still looking at the presents we got over Christmas. There's Jim. Your mother hiding her face. Grandma hiding her face. Grandma Claudia. Grandma O'Connor. Grandma Lorraine. Oh, here we are. We went to a parade. New Year's Day parade. And here we're sitting on the line waiting for the parade to begin. These are all the bros. Bros, that's Mama Bro, Patty Bro. And here comes part of the parade shooting down the street. It's Christmas, horses, horsey, horsey, horsey. Some of the times the angles where I took the darn parade, it was the wrong angle. The sunlight was in the wrong direction. I was either shooting into the sun or something of that nature. It took me a long time to more or less wise up what was going on. The Rose Parade is 71st, 1971 Rose Parade. 71st, I don't recall what year that was. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I didn't keep it on there long enough to. There's a band going by. We're riding upside down now. You don't recognize that song. That's Dr. Zhivago. That's Omar Sharif and Julie Christie and Alex Guinness. That's their music. That's a tape from it. That Christie was an exciting number. So this is the Rose Parade, 71st Rose Parade, taken in Pasadena. And at the time, we were staying over at the Bros house, came down there to the line. We had to spend the whole night protecting our chairs, so it was quite a job. Keep your chairs in place without losing your spot. But it's always more interesting to see the parade when you have to really suffer a little bit before you actually enjoy it. Sometimes you get to a point where you worry about staying up, protecting your spot, and then when the Rose Parade goes, you have a tendency to fall asleep. But that is what we call life. There were some of the floats that were in this parade in the 71st parade. One or two of these shots would be good. Most of them are not the greatest. But we have them on this tape, so we'll explain them as much as possible. This probably could be eliminated as far as points of interest on this here tape are concerned. But that was the Rose Parade, 71st Rose Parade. I don't know what number we're up to now. Now we're back to the human life. Now was Lisa. Lisa, 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 Lisa. Oh, dear lovely Lisa. And that was Kathleen and Fifi. Fifi and Lisa. Lisa's now, I think she's 28, 29. So if you want to do a little mathematics, you could probably figure out. Now that was Tiger. We had a Tiger. That dog, every time I came near it, I got a rash from him. So that was Mimi and Tiger. Tiger was the type of a dog that bite the male lady, then run down the street. You wouldn't. You'd bite her, and then he'd come back and smile. Nice guy. Poor Tiger. Is our trip to Disneyland. Trip to Disneyland. I think that's. Is that? Oh, that's. Who is this? Tom, Mike, Mama, Mother. Oh, this is the trip through the Safari Land into the deepest part of Adventureland. While we were on this safari, riding this airboat, we were attacked by a hippopotamus. He attacked us. Oh, there's a big elephant. Oh my God, he almost got us. Now here's the hippo. Hippo dippo. Watch out, he's coming at us. He's coming at us. Ah! My I like that song. After Dr. Zhivago. If you haven't seen the movie, you should see it. It's a classic. If you don't, you better wear a coat when you go to see it, because there's Tom. Everybody had a nice dinner. Mark Twain riverboat. It's a good scene to go on when you go down there. And we saw Mama. We were in Dumbo. I was shooting from one of the buckets in back of her. And that was Mama and Kathleen. Shows I have some ingenuity. There it goes, flying up, and away, and around they go. Don't get dizzy now, because it's a possibility that you could. All right. Let me reset this here. There's the... Okay. Well, we've changed the tape. This is Sound of Music. This is good old Disneyland. And that is the submarine. Oh, here we're back at the pool. Going on. That was, who was that, Tom? I think it was Tom. That, I think it was Jim. Oh, here. Now, these are the celebrities in the crowd. Now, that is Crosby and Grandma and Delia. These are Bob Crosby. You've heard of Bing. Well, he had a brother. His name was Bob, but he had a band. That was Stephen, Bob Crosby's son. He's in stocks and bonds now. That was Stephen, our Stephen. We're up at the Truesdale Estates. That was up in the high mucky area of Beverly Hills. Oh, here we switched over to Joe Perona. Joe Perona was my wife's grandfather. He had She's a prig, the statue, and this is a New Year's Day party thrown by Gloria. That's Gloria right there, Gloria Perona. She's, I don't know, Brendan, that's your grandmother, grandma. That was Patty Brewer right there. I don't recall who she is or who she is, but there is Marie. Marie was one of the relatives too, and Joe Perona. Joe Perona having a good time. He's gone, long gone, long gone. But we're talking years gone by. Johnny Bro, Marie Perona. Mountain. So this is a New Year's Day party. Showing up, the party was at Silver Ridge, up in, well, it's Gloria Perona's Green Mountain, oh, the green. The reason you don't see me in the picture, I'm taking it. Well, I don't think you miss much when I'm looking at me. No, this is the Sound of Music. I always thought that they had some nice soundtracks in that. Now this, now you might not recognize, but that I think is someone you should. Grandma, and that you should know. Lord, every street, every rainbow, oh, dream. This is the Bros. Their daughter Mary got married, and that was Kathleen, and that was Debbie. Debbie was a cute little gal, huh? Of an eye, long as you see, from every mountain, on every street, every rainbow. That was Grandma and Mary Jo. Oh, now we're back to the cradle scene here. Who is this? Oh, we're down to Kathleen's son. Let's see, I got it down there, June 20th, 1982. 1982. Little day. Looks like it's Father's Day. Wow. Nice of me. Jimmy, this Sean Hagen. That is Kathleen's son. Yeah, that's Sean. I don't know if he was on this tape, but he's on it.
Here you are, standing there, loving me.
So nice to have a nice tape, like Sound of Music. So that is my lovely wife, Grandma. Sean in diapers. Now he's 14 years old now, I think, as of today.
My youth or childhood, I must have done.
Looks like he's well interested in this here production. I gotta practice for one of these. See, my Wild Irish Rose. Oh, here I am. Oh, that's when I was a member of the Valiers.
So somewhere in this beautiful childhood, I must have done something good.
There's Kathleen and Sean.
Comes from nothing ever could. So somewhere in my youth,
childhood, which must have done something good. Yeah, this is Father's Day, 1982, I think it was, 1982. So what are we taking, 82, and this is 95, 13 years ago? About 13 years ago, yeah. Oh, here we went down to have a lot of fun. Hey, there we are. It's what it is the Rose Parade. Yeah. And we have got a couple of bleacher seats right up on the old and we sat there and enjoyed the Rose Parade as it came down Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena. And we can read here, this is the 94th annual Rose Parade. You recognize that song? Sound of Music. That's Julie Andrews. This isn't bad with the Hilton float just went by. And here's one of the majorettes. It's the theme bride's coming by. Theme bride's coming by. I don't know what the theme is that particular year. What do you say it was, the 91st? We showed you the 71st, 71. 71 to 90. So you're talking 20 years in between those years. Hey, this is a gal on the trapeze. God almighty, that's quite a deal, quite a feat. Going down the street, flipping out.
high on a hill was a lonely goat herd lay. Loud was the voice of the lonely goat herd lay. Folks in a town, quite remote herd lay. Lofty and clear from the goat herd's throat herd lay.
These guys jumped up like Minutemen.
A twig from the bridge of a castle boat herd lay. On a road with the largest herd lay. Men in the midst of a castle jump herd lay. Men drinking little girl in a pale pink coat heard lay, odelay, ooh. She yodeled back to the lonely goat herd, lay, odelay, soon her mamma with a gleaming glow heard lay, ooh. What did you wait for a girl and goat herd, lay, odelay.
I guess you got a view there of my lovely wife, which would be more interesting, I think, than the rose parade that we have here. But there's the Clydesdale, the big horses from St. Louis. Whee! On the sound of music. Okay, Mike, I think we've covered the whole tape. I hope that wasn't aware of the fact that this extra rose parade was on the end of it. And I don't know whether this audio dubbing will come through on this tape or not. I'm recording off of this here one that I put it on play in audio dub. So we'll find out after the tape is over whether it actually came through or not. So you're looking at the end of the tape here that I don't know where I forgot I had it and it came through. So I hope this covers all the bases here. Merry Christmas to you and your family. This is the end of it. I'm going to fast forward here. Tapes are tapes, and rose parades are pains to me. So we call it quits, and that's the way it goes. Okay. See you later.
Blessed with the sound of music, and I'll sing once more.
down in Las Vegas, Nevada. You recognize all those there? Bingo. Lucky Strike. Okay, we got to change the scenery here. There's Jim and Stephen on their way to Catalina on the ship. Went over on a boat, Catalina boat. They had a good time. Rather than spend the money, that's Tom. He slept in the bushes. One of the bugs didn't get him and eat him up. But this is them on we left them go by themselves. That's Mike wishing Jim and Stephen their bon voyage trip. There's a ship pulling out. So there's the old Catalina cruiser gonna. Oh, this is another. This is a couple of years later, and that was when he was 16. Jim was 16, and Stephen was about 17, I guess they were. Here we were down in San Diego. We were greeting Jim after he'd been on a cruise down to Australia on the 826, and I understand that the skipper of that there particular boat had died, and they come back. They brought him back, but it was a kind of unfortunate. But Jim was just coming in. That was the ship that he was on. It's turning. This here was a 16 millimeter film. If I shot it continuously, I'd have wiped out my film. It's an 826 was the number of the, I don't know, was that a destroyer? I guess it was a destroyer. It's got twin 5-inch 38s on it. I think those were the We were just pulling into San Diego. And this was in 1970. I imagine it was 1975. Maybe 75 or 74. Probably 74, 75. That dark figure coming down the old, you call it a ladder in the Navy, is James right there. He had a beard, and he was just walking off. Well, there he is. I guess that's him waving. You can't see that. I was in the wrong position, wrong place, wrong lighting for this for my lousy camera. This is down in San Diego. We had all the gang down there to meet him and take him home. He was glad. There he is, right there. Oh, this is the dinner that we put on for Jim and on his return from that tremendous occasion. Climb every mountain, oh, every creek, oh, every rainbow. He was saying grace before meals. Had the camera set up. There's Master James and Mary and Mike, Mama, Mother, Grandma. Tom busted his hand somehow, and there's Mary in the shadows there. So we had a good story there. Okay. Let's just eject. Okay, I was turning around trying to reset that camera. This is when videotapes had just come out. I guess you recognize that. That's Jim and Mary and Tom. Tom with his long hair. And there's Mary flexing her muscles. And, oh, we're back at the academy. We went back to the academy. So this was commencement, I think. And all the people were out there. We took it to the parade ground. There's a couple of late ones going in. And they all, in the various companies, I guess they call them, marching. When you take a look at these here pictures, you can't tell one from the other because they're all dressed alike. It's the sound of music. The sound of music. I believe this was in 1970. So we went back there for, I guess you call it plebe week. That was your mother, Claudia, Lorraine, Grandma, whatever you want to call Grandma. This is before Bancroft Hall. I don't know whether they lined up for quarters for muster or something of that nature. Yeah. And they're all marching in now. I believe they call that there's Master James. Yeah. Here's Tecumseh. We're painted with colors, watercolors, for the Army-Navy game. They do a good job. This is Master James. Here we are in the mess hall. This was an extraordinary situation where you got a chance to sit down, have your guests and your friends and your mothers and fathers all in the mess hall. So naturally, I was X'd out of the picture because of the fact I had to take the picture. I shot this 16 millimeter there. We got some pretty good shots. Now Sunday morning comes along, everybody had to go to church, some kind of a church, just to indicate. And here we were out here prior to chapel, and we were taking their pictures. Naturally, one plebe, one first, second, or third class, whatever it is all the same. One has to distinguish very closely who's who and what's what. Well, we shot them for posterity so that you can see what it all looks like and the misery that had to be, well, let's say the things that had to be gone through. Now here's Jim coming out of, I don't know what that building is, but, what? Oh, Bancroft Hall. Mother just quoted me as what it was, Bancroft Hall. And I remember this is 1943. We're talking 21 years ago. That's Mary Poppins. She had her umbrella. We were outside the airport. I think it was in Chicago. And this is Mike. Well, let's see. We're going back to 26. So this will be the first year that Dr. J was in the academy. There is mother and son. And there I am, and Grandma and James and Marie, Joe Perona, and me, and Zia. She's passed on. She's dead. There's Grandma. And there I am, advancement reading section, down in San Diego. This will be 1950. So yeah, not all these pictures are in sequential order. But this was the advancement reading section. The whole fleet examinations that they've handed out. There was me. There was. I guess you call it me. We had to print up the questions and the answers, make up the examinations to send it out to the fleet. Imagine nowadays it's all computerized, you just push it in. But you have to realize this was 1950. 1950? Yeah, about 50 is about right. It all looks so industriously. Oh, this is really going back. This is 1942 Chevrolet Coupe DeVille, business coupe actually. I made it into a business coupe. After the war came along, 1941, they ceased to make automobiles anymore. This is this is me. This is when I was driving a bus. Drove a bus in the city of Los Angeles, and this is Bud Swanson. My sister's husband, he drove a streetcar. Streetcar, that's an odd name nowadays. Bud Swanson, he was a good guy. He passed on. He was only 43 when he died, but hallelujah. This is the Yeagley's home. Yeagley was the name of, this is Ed Yeagley. He worked for Smart and Final, S&P. I think he worked in warehouse. So he's up there and on oddball thing, the streetcars. It's a red car. Pacific Electric. The red car, streetcar, ran along the voltage, and I, drove a bus like this. That was a lot of fun. I did it for a couple of years, and then I got to be work. This is UCLA. None of the customers are shooting this year. But you'll have to admit the customer is not the best photographer, nor when you're driving it's very difficult to shoot a picture. Maria. So here is UCLA. Now that turnaround no longer exists there. UCLA has long since ceased to be in that their manner of configuration. They have no turnaround. We used to have the drivers change with each other. Drivers want to take over the bus on the line. This is my relief. I was going to relieve this guy on the Wilshire line, and he was going to get off. I take it on, I get in and take the bus over for him and run my hours on it. Bud Swanson and my sister Gwen on Wallace Avenue. That was Wallace Avenue, and that's where I lived and went to school, and where I was inducted into World War II at. This is a picture of Dennis, and it was taken up in Crestline. It was many years ago. And this is Dennis, and then we had Chris. That's Susan over there. And that's Grandpa. He's long since passed to his reward. And this is my sister's side of the family. And their name were Nichols. That was Art. That was Grandpa. He was sliding down. They had a heavy snowfall that year. That was me. And as you can see, I had a spell. This time I got by there by there goes Art down the street, down the wall. That line that we passed under was the clothesline. So you can see roughly how much snow there was on the ground at that time. Quite a bit. And this is Grandpa and Susan, I think, on his back. Grandma. This was Art, my sister's husband's mother. She was an RN. But she just passed under that clothesline too. So the time goes by, and things fly along, and here we go. And I guess we have reached the end of this tape. So I'm going to close off for now. Pretty sure I've reached the end. Sometimes there's a gap in the tape that I am not aware of. So, bon voyage on this here 1995. It's